Hi everyone, welcome back to Eleanor's restoration. I'm on part 2 of the strip down of the front subframe. As I've got here, I've had a wee delivery, just with a few bits and pieces. Rubber bushes for the tie rod and the lower arm, nuts and bolts in there, the metric rubber cone compressor, and the rebuild kits for the top arms. I'll cover all that in future videos as I'm doing them. When I left you last, I had this 2 stubborn bolts that were not wanting to come off. As you can see now, they're both off. They were fun and games to get off, as I'll show you with this. Next bit I'm going to focus on, first I'm going to take this engine steady bar off, and then I'm going to look at the assembly on this side. And I've got an apprentice, a helper, to keep me going. So let's go, we'll start by this bit in here. So one bolt on either side, one there and one here. How hard could it be to come off? Now, we've seen what the last bolts were like. It's quite rusty in there. We'll give it a go. So here we go. Yep, it's coming. It's like an old joint creaking away, but it's coming. So that's the nut come away in this end. Wait a minute, it's got the washer, actually 2 washers. It's got the spring washer that came first, and the solid washer that came next, and then we can see this just came out here. This was this side, and then this came out, and we can see the extent of the bracket, held in purely by the bar. I don't know how long that's been like that, if it was like that when the car was running, but it's caused a fair bit of movement with the actual engine. Must be the power from the 998 surging through it. I heard a few years laugh there. So what I'm going to do with these parts, I'm going to keep them all in a box so I know it's from this and they don't get lost. And then the next part I'm going to focus on is taking the brake caliper off, which shouldn't be too bad, 2 bolts, but we'll see how that goes in a minute. So I could leave the brake caliper on and just take the whole hub assembly off, but it's getting refurbished, and I thought I would just show it on this anyway. So the 2 bolts, one up here and one down here, once they're done it should just lift off, nothing else holding it on. There's no brake pads in it. You can see inside they were taken out when it had to be moved as it was seized, and this is turning, so it's not seized on there. So once these 2 are off, that should just lift off freely, straightforward enough. Right, so it's a 9/16 these bolts here. First time we're going to be attempted to be done, so I'm going to use this, and we're going to use the bar for leverage. Right, so they're both quite loose. Didn't actually take too much to come off. They've probably been changed the calipers at some point, I would imagine, over the last 27 years. You'll feel when it comes loose, you can just do it with your fingers when it gets to a certain point. You can see the top bolt there's also holding on the dust cover plate. I need to get all this off and have a look at it, but I'm in two minds whether to get new calipers. You do get a kit on eBay with the calipers, the discs, the pads, the cover plate for about £135. You can refurbish these, which would be good to show and good to do, which I probably will do anyway, but I have to keep in mind the cost at the same time. So once that's down to that might be able to come off by hand. Shall we try? Is it coming? Yep. So while that's there, I would try doing the bottom one. I'll try doing the bottom one before that's fully off. That should be it now. It should come by hand now. And you can see the washer behind that. Make sure that you get that as well, you don't drop it. That should pull out, is it? Pull it out. Is it still unscrewing? That should be it, pull out now. There we go. Yep, just set that down there and the top one now. That'll come up by hand as well. Not ready to pull out. And then again, that's not even lifting, that's just coming off. This is quite heavy, so do you want to lift it off? Just pull it towards you. And there you go, there's the caliper off. I can do a video how to refurbish this. I did take the other one apart, I've not actually got around to it yet, but there are kits you can get that include the two pistons, the rubber seals that go in, and also there's a rubber seal with the two pistons joined together. It all goes down to how easy the bleed nipple and the back pipe come out here. I can look at that, but that's another video. So this can go in the magical box to be refurbished, and you can see it's getting a bit barer. What I'm going to do next is the tie rod. So it's obviously attached at this end by the outer bolt here, bushes, washers, etc. And then there's a pin that attaches it to the lower arm in there. We'll see a bit clearer once we get into it and start getting it loosened. Right, so we've tipped it onto its side to make it a bit easier. The tie rod is attached at the bottom arm, as it says here, underneath, by a nut at the other end, and then onto the actual front of the subframe here by this nut here, and various bushes and washers which I showed you at the start of the video I've got. Then there's a bar at the other side stops it. So what we're going to do is just wire brush the two nuts, WD-40 them, and then take them off. So what I found with the other side is to do this end first. If you take that end off, then that end just spins and it makes it a lot harder. So that's an 11/16 nut on the end of that. Again, I don't know if that's supposed to be the original size, but we're going to use leverage. And hopefully it's going to come loose. We'll probably hear a click. And once it starts turning loose, you can then take the bar away and use that bit. As you can see, we're using all the muscles we've got. So just to show you the orientation it comes off, and there's the nut on the top. Then there's the flat washer that comes off. And the next one that comes off, it's called a cup washer. You can see that the flat end faces out the way and the indented end faces in the way. And then there's a rubber washer, sorry, a bush on this side here. That goes in there. That's everything off that side. Obviously the thing stopping it coming off is now this needs to come off and it can be pulled off. Once you're on the other side, as we'll see when it comes off, there's another bush, the exact same bush on that side. These are quite bad when you're driving. If they're worn and you brake, you'll feel the front end move from side to side. So I need to replace them on this Mini at some point, and it's quite bad for that when you brake. But as you can see from this, it's not a big job. Not expensive replacements either. So, same onto the bottom, that hopefully we can get that off just as easy. That's out, and the other side here hasn't turned, which shows you how bad that is. So I might need to knock this bit with a hammer just to try and get this broken, just like well, just like this part, just like the ball joint if you like, just to try and get it off. You can try tapping it here with a block of wood to try and knock it through. I don't want to hit it direct with a hammer because it'll just ruin the end of the bolt, albeit I have got a new bolt to put on. So the nut's off, but this isn't going anywhere. I've tried moving at this end and I think it's going to round it. So we're just going to try a bit of WD-40 first, just sort of around here and on here. Go for it. Right, and in here. Yep, again, again. Just a wee bit more in here. That's fine, just leave that. Right, like I say, I've got bolts on that kit there, so if I can get the bolt through, that's fine. But I don't want any damage the inside of the arm here or the pin here because I want to use that again. So we'll give that a couple of minutes to soak in. And I'll try and get something on here to turn it, and then we can try and knock it out. Right, so we're going to take off, well, we're going to loosen at least this nut first. We'll loosen it to the end and then we'll get a ball joint splitter to split the ball joint to get this loose. I've got a couple of different ones, so I'll maybe use one for this and one different one for the top one just to show you the different kinds I've got. But, so we're going to try and loosen this first. And we'll get the pole again. Get the pole. Oh, it doesn't need it. Muscles. So, keep checking. We don't want to take it all the way off. Let's see that. Yep, that's fine. So the reason we're not going to take it off, do you know?
Because then that would just all fall off.
Yeah, because if you hit this and it pings, it'll ping off. This will stop it just now, but if you keep this on and it pings, it's only going to come as far as here. And it's not going to hurt anyone. So what we're going to do is get the ball joint separator in here. So this is one of the ball joint splitters I've got, just push this bit down into here, and then what we do is we just tighten up this bit here, and what it does is it forces it to. You hear a pop in it, basically knocks this loose here. I'm sure you're well aware of this anyway, but or you could use hammers to hit here. Because it's old and because I want to keep it, I don't want to risk cracking it when I've got this tool anyway. So let's go for it. We'll need to change this because it'll be sitting tight in a minute.
That's massive.
Right, so that's us ready to go. You can use the bar if you want. Once it gives, it'll just give.
Is that?
Is that given? Is that the actual ball joint? So
Wait, I thought it was really plot.
So yeah, well that was the pop. So that's fine, that's that now separated from here. It does take a wee bit, but then it eventually does go. So we can undo this now. And then we can look at the other side. So we'll get this off and then we'll turn the subframe over so it's easier to get access to the underside of here.
I'm not doing it right, it doesn't feel like.
It's dead loose because you loosened it before, so that'll come off by hand in a minute, I think. Try it by hand. Try it by hand. And the washer. And there you go, that's the bottom arm free. Okay, so now we just need to look at the bolt on the other side of this, and I will just flip that over. Right, so we've flipped the subframe over just to give you a look at how it looks now. The one bolt on this side, the lower arm, just needs cleaned up, and we'll try and get that one off. Should come by hand, is it?
I have a feeling this one's going to be easier.
Oh, never say that. Right, still need some more. I've said that before, and it's went horribly wrong. You've jinxed it.
Oops.
That should be it, let's see. So one bolt, one washer. Right, we'll get this back on its other side to see if we can get the other bit through. Right, so the nuts off here, I've got this spin round again. We just need to basically knock this side through. So just by getting a wee drift in here and just giving it a couple of taps, it's managed to knock it through there. You can see there. So just to get this bit out now, I think it actually did come out the other way, it was just slightly fiddly. Rather than taking the bush off there, you can wriggle this out and get the bush out when it's on the bench and replace it then. So it just takes a bit of wiggling and it just comes out. I say a bit of wiggling, a lot of patience. And then that's that freed from there. This will all be refurbished later on and redone like I showed you with the other side.